Yo, what's up? Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia 76ers now. I'm Chase Sr. Hope all of you out there are having a great week. And coming up here on the 76ers Now Rundown, we're going to explain why Sixers second-round pick Adem Bona will shock the NBA. Before we begin, if you believe in the player here, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If not, a little bit raw, some holes to his game, that's fine. I want you to comment why. And let's start it off right from the jump. Why Adem Bona will succeed as an NBA player under Nick Nurse, backing up Joel Embiid for this organization. First of all, Bona is a defensive standout, and that was very, very clear during his time at UCLA. In 2023-2024, he averaged 1.8 blocks per game and more than a steal per game. I think that's really significant and impressive considering he played 26 and a half minutes per game. And last year, he was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. I didn't necessarily think it was even close for him to win that award because he certainly made his imprint on games night in, night out, playing in the Pac-12 and just in general last year for the UCLA Bruins under head coach Mick Cronin. And in the Las Vegas Summer League, we saw the defensive play translate to the professional level. Not going to call it the NBA level, but it is still the professional level. 2.6 blocks per game in 5 games in 21 minutes played. So Bona is a player who I think can excel in a couple of different areas. He's a high-level rim protector. Perimeter switching ability is something that he has to his game. There are good timing and instincts that he has and possesses as well. Sometimes he can get a little bit out of control, right? Because he's a raw player. He's so long and he can get out of position. But then he uses that athleticism to get back into position. And he's a great pick-and-roll defender. And in today's NBA, you have to have that if you are a big. Now, he has to learn to contest without fouling. And that's part of the out-of-control nature to his game that I had alluded to a little while ago, because sometimes the fouls can certainly rack up, and they did in the NBA Summer League. But with more experience, the game will slow down, and I think those fouls could decrease. Number 2, physical tools. Adem Bona is a physical freak for the 76ers. 6'8", 235. So he doesn't have like center height, but would you say that Bam Adebayo is like a massive center? No, he's always a little bit shorter than Joel Embiid, but he's a really good athlete. He's long. So is Bona. A 7'4" wingspan, and is regarded and was regarded as one of the top athletes in the 2024 NBA draft class and for this rookie class going into this year. And his NBA combine numbers among centers, he was first as far as his vertical jump standing at 35 inches. His max vertical leap, 40 inches, that was first. His shuttle run was 5th, and that's really good quickness from side to side. His lane agility, also important. Got to get to your defensive spot in the trenches, 3rd. And then his three-quarter sprint, 5th. We know that the Sixers, led by Daryl Morey, are an analytical-heavy organization. That's all analytics-heavy right there. And the standing vert was first among all players for Adem Bona. And the elite athleticism shows on tape. Chip and I talked about this during draft night. We've talked about it here on the show, where his jumping ability, how he can climb the ladder, his agility, acceleration, speed, explosiveness, paired with his length, his hustle, his intensity, it allows him to make plays. And where his athleticism certainly shows, he can beat players down the floor. He can finish over defenders, throwing down some yams. He can rise up to protect the rim. Really good lob threat on that pick and roll. And he can guard ball handlers on those switches. So will Adem Bona make an impact for his rookie season? Why for yes and for no. When Embiid either sits out to rest or misses time, you're looking right now at Andre Drummond and Adem Bona as the backup centers who are going to be in the rotation, I would imagine. Now, today's 76ers Now brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America with over 5 million active members. It's daily fantasy sports made easy, and it's so fun. You pick 2 or more players, you choose more or less on the projected stats, and you can win big-time money. You get $50 right now when you play $5. All you have to do is head to prizepicks.com/CLNS. use the code CLNS after creating an account. And as we've talked about on the show, we like the Steph Curry more than points per game average, Victor Wembanyama points per game average, and then Domantas Sabonis less than rebounds per game average. So download the PrizePicks app, create an account, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS, use the code CLNS, get $50 when you play 5. You don't even need to win to receive that 50. PrizePicks, run your game. Now, number 3, there is a path to playing time for Bona as well. And for some of the reasons that I just mentioned, he can see the floor as a rookie. Joel Embiid is bound to miss time during the year, whether that be because of injury, him breaking down, load management. I think the Sixers might be more conservative than ever, considering the depth that they have on this team, the talent they have on this team, how Tyrese Maxey and Paul George will be able to carry them, but the continuous problematic trend of Embiid being injured throughout the NBA playoffs. So Drummond will step in when Embiid is out, and then Bona, he's the backup center. Drummond ain't playing all 48, I'll tell you that. That would be stupid if that were to happen. And matchups could play a factor too. If Bona proves himself early, could he play Bona over Drummond against smaller and quicker lineups? That is something to consider here. And Philadelphia only has 3 centers on the roster, and they believe in Bona should he need to play. And I'm a believer that he can contribute for this basketball team. Coming in at number 4, Bona has some great mentors, right? I mean, Joel Embiid is one of the best centers in the history of the NBA and in this generation of basketball. And Andre Drummond is the best rebounding big of this generation. So it's a rookie center's dream to learn from Joel Embiid, because Embiid is a player like Bona who didn't start playing basketball till late, was very raw, didn't have a vast skill set, but you saw the ability. And then Joel Embiid was able to sharpen all of his skills and grow his arsenal and become just a dominant force. And then Andre Drummond is just putting on a masterclass night in, night out at being able to crash the glass. And statistically, eye test-wise, you turn on the tape, you ask people around the NBA, it's one of the best rebounders of this generation. Lastly, for Bona, he's starting to develop a little bit of an outside shot. And Andre Drummond, what he doesn't have is an outside shot. And he's kind of a liability late in games because he can't knock down free throws. Adem Bona, if he wants to see the floor early in his career, especially late, if he can work on that mid-range, which he has a little bit of that, if he can become a better free throw shooter, just means that you're a more reliable player. Bona only took 1 3 in college, but he's already working on his shot. Could he be expanding his game? He posted a video on Instagram working on his corner 3. I think the form actually looks good. Now, there's no telling if a player that size is going to be able to, add a 3-pointer to their game and have it be consistent. Like with B-Ball Paul, he shot the 3 at the G League level to good efficiency levels. At the NBA level, he looked scared. So there are a lot of factors that go into that. But oftentimes when I evaluate basketball players and we try to figure out, can they shoot the 3? Sometimes I'll look at their free throw numbers, because you need the form, you need the shooting stroke, you need the confidence, you need to see the ball go through the hoop. And we definitely saw some strides made with Bona's free throw growth. 2022-2023 as a freshman, 57.3% from the stripe. As a sophomore, 69.6%. In the Summer League, 83.3%. Now, the attempts went down in the NBA Summer League, but he went up nearly 13 percentage points from his freshman year to his sophomore campaign. I don't expect an outside shot to be a part of his game as a rookie, but long-term, it could definitely be an interesting development. So to round things out, this is why I think Adem Bona can really be a special player for the Philadelphia 76ers. I really think that Sixers second-round pick Adem Bona can shock the NBA over the next couple of years. He didn't start his basketball career until he was a teenager, but we have already seen him make massive strides as a basketball player, and the physical traits are there. Vertical leap, standing vertical. He has lateral quickness. He has a knack for blocking shots. He runs the floor well. He can be a really good and viable threat in the pick and roll. He's starting to add to his arsenal as a shooter. His free throw numbers got better from his first year at UCLA to his second year. I'm a believer in the athlete here, and the eye test tells me that Bona can be a really good player at the NBA level and turn into one of the best backup centers that Joel Embiid has ever had. And lastly, Bona, I think that he can get minutes right from the jump, because when Embiid doesn't play or if he's injured, Andre Drummond will start and Bona is the backup. He's a freak of nature who I think is going to be able to impact the game at a high level on both ends of the floor. So Chip, Adem Bona, I mean, such an intriguing player. This has been the case since the Sixers drafted him. And it's one of the players on this roster who I'm most looking forward to watching this year.
Yeah, you know, when you talk about second-round picks, not a lot of times you expect them or, hope that they might be able to make an impact to the level that I think Adem Bona might be able to. Now, I don't think it'll happen right away because he is very raw and he has a lot of things to iron out in the details of his game, even defensively where he is strongest, has some things he has to iron out. But I think when you have a player who has the athletic tools, you can't teach those, right?
Yep.
So he already has that aspect down. He has the guys he can learn from. We've seen some rookie centers and some young centers over the past couple of years make an impact. Look at Derek Lively with the Dallas Mavericks, right? A player that's been able to make a huge impact with that team, just doing, the dirty work and doing the little things, setting hard screens, catching lobs, playing good defense. And now we've seen him start to expand his game to the three-point line. Why can't Adem Bona, as the season progresses, if he gets a little bit of run, if Embiid misses some time? I'm sure Adem Bona will spend some time in the G League as well to help his development and to continue, some of his discipline on the defensive side of the ball and just learning how to space and, fill lanes at the NBA level. But if he can start to, develop some of that actual basketball IQ and skills to pair with that athleticism, there's no reason he can't be one of the better backups in the league at some point down the road with just setting good screens, playing good defense, finishing near the rim. He doesn't even need to develop an outside shot to be a good player in this league. But if he does, man, watch out. He could really surprise some people as soon as, I think, the end of this season, but especially moving forward into his sophomore, junior campaigns.
I think you really make a good point with Derek Lively. Like, Derek Lively was a great draft choice by the Dallas Mavericks. You saw very early on that he was a seasoned defensive player. The addition of a lob threat to Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, I think, really helped out that offense, and he became a very, very critical player for that Mavericks team that made it to the NBA Finals. And when he missed some time, Dallas certainly missed him. So be sure to hit that subscribe button here on 76ers Now. It's the Chase and Chip Show right here on the channel. Thanks for all of the love.